Francis Cecil Sumner. Francis was born in 1895. He lived until 1954. Francis was born in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 30 years after the abolishment of slavery. Because African Americans that had been slaves didn't have last names, his parents chose the last name Sumner in respect to Charles Sumner, a Massachusetts senator. There wasn't much offered to African Americans for secondary education, so Francis obtained his secondary education through extensive reading with his parents' guidance. At only 15, he passed a written examination and was accepted to Lincoln University, an African American institution in Pennsylvania. At age 20, he received his bachelor's degree, magna cum laude, with special honors in English, modern language, Greek, Latin, and philosophy. From there, he attended Clark University, where he earned his second bachelor's degree in 1 year. The following year, he returned to Lincoln University as a graduate student and earned his master's degree. He also taught courses in German and psychology. Sumner applied to the doctorate programs at the University of Illinois and American University. Unfortunately for them, he was rejected. He then applied directly to Stanley Hall, president at the time of Clark University. He was accepted to the PhD program in psychology. During this time, 1918, he was drafted into the Army, where he would serve as a 22-year-old sergeant in World War I. By 1919, he resumed his doctoral program, and by June 1920, he was the first African American to obtain a PhD in psychology. In 1921, he accepted a teaching position at Wilberforce University in Ohio and taught at Southern University in the summer. In the same year, he accepted the position of Chair of Departments of Psychology and Philosophy at Western Virginia Collegiate Institute. In 1926 and 1927, he published 2 articles that were slightly controversial at the time. He argued for segregated higher education for African Americans, which he was criticized for because these statements seemed to contradict his personal beliefs. In reality, he was saying what needed to be said for that specific social climate, in order to get more people to support higher education for African Americans in general. In 1928, when Sumner accepted his new position at Howard University, he was in charge of improving the quality of the psych department. Howard University became an integral role in training Black psychologists. Sumner went on holding memberships and advancement for many fields. Some key terms the students used to describe him were quiet, dedicated, and brilliant. Kenneth Bancroft Clark. Kenneth was born in 1914 and lived until 2005. He attended Howard University in 1931 with the goal of studying medicine. After experiencing Sumner's introductory psychology course, he abandoned his goal of medicine. He earned his bachelor's and master's degree from Howard University. This is where he met his wife, Mamie Phipps Clark. He remained an instructor there while Mamie finished her undergraduate work. They both went on to earn their PhDs from Columbia University. They ended up pioneering the developmental effects of prejudice, discrimination, and segregation on children. Portions of their research were used in the 1954 Supreme Court case Brown v. the Board of Education. The court's decision ended the legal basis for segregation education in the United States. Sumner died 4 months before the Brown decision, but he was aware of the impending collapse of the legal basis for segregated education and was proud of the fact that one of his students had played such a significant role in that collapse. Clark received criticisms for becoming a political advocate rather than a scientist. But is it really political when it has to do with the well-being, safety, and disparities of your own people? The criticism stemmed from psychologists who believed observations should be detached and free of value judgments, but Clark made no apologies for conducting investigations with an Afrocentric perspective. Critics believed that Clark and his colleagues violated scientific objectivity. What do you think?